Right, onto USDcad, and we did have in August, an August candlestick, this spinning top right on the 1.300 monthly support it was at the time, and also rejection from moving averages. It looked as though we were going to see price move further upside from there, which we did in September. However, price has quickly slammed back down, and now we are beneath the moving averages once more. Moving averages failed to cross over to the upside, so it looks like they could be taking a turn towards the downside. And now, following that, I was anticipating potentially tapping the monthly resistance once more before heading further downside, but now we are just looking very bearish. Already started to move this month, and I mean the next support would be this channel support. However, we could be looking at all the way at 1.25 monthly support, and as you can see, we've got the 200 EMA just approaching that level, so we could be spiking anywhere to this region over the next month or so. I mean, that is quite a way to go down, and as I did say, the dollar was looking, I had said the dollar's looking quite strong currently, but you have to remember the correlations in the market. So the Canadian dollar hinges very much on the price of oil. So if we do take a look at oil currently, it is doing quite well. It's just moved upside. I can't see it breaking these highs. Take a look on the monthly time frame of just approaching that 75 level. But again, we are looking very bullish. So yeah, as oil is doing well, Canadian dollar is also doing well, pushes USD CAD downside. Also, we did see the end of last week NAFTA agreements, which did help to push the Canadian dollar higher. As you can see, we saw that spike upside. I was watching this pair for entries around a test of these moving averages, which I saw crossed over 2 weeks ago. Price came back up to test that, failed to close above, and just melted back down to this close. Then at the start of this week, we saw a massive gap towards the downside. We do have to remember that we are in this uptrend currently, which has not yet been invalidated. We are seeing this weekly retracement. So initial targets at 1.2750, but should we comfortably break this 2710 level, which is the 78.6% retracement of our Fibonacci, then we could be looking at that further downside move as specified on the monthly time frame down to 1.25. So stepping it down to the daily time frame, then look at that Friday candle, massive bearish candle, was consumed prior price action here, all the way back down to that 1.29 daily resistance. Now there was a possibility to get caught on this. As you can see, we did form a double bottom there, but price massive gap down. We did come back up to fill that gap somewhat, and we're already just tanking lower. So we are waiting for the Fibonacci extension here from the daily downside Fibonacci extension to be fulfilled there. but ultimately I am expecting this weekly support to be met. As we're watching the moving averages cross over, we could be seeing an overall trend reversal. This 200 EMA, you can see how well price responds to that, has responded. This was earlier in the year, so mid 2018. We came back to it around September, late August, September time. Price fired back upside from it, and now we do look to be breaking it after this final attempt at an upside move. Again, to call this manipulation here, slightly just about broke through the prior high, likely to have taken a few people out before melting lower. So yeah, down to the 8-hour time frame, see what's happening there. I mean, after that gap, I've had this 1.2840 level drawn in since last week. That was the initial target, first target that we had. Ultimately, it's always been this weekly support level. Price gapped pretty much straight to that level. Retraced, closed the spinning top this morning, which would suggest that we were coming upside, potentially to tap this 1.2900 daily. That's now turned to resistance. However, we are just continuing to melt. Very, very bearish here. Moving averages, smaller moving averages crossed over to the downside, and not much else to say. Just very bearish price action. Again, we saw a little bit of hesitation from price there, but now we've broken those lows and we're just mounting lower and lower. Just about 15 minutes left on this H4 candle, and if we close like this, we could even be seeing this level met by the end of today, which would be absolutely incredible, before seeing a pullback. So I mean, we would be looking for something like this, or even up here somewhere, as we've gone all this way without any real pullback. Following that, we'll be eyeing up reversals to take it down to, say if we came to here, take it all the way down to that 2500 support level. But we'd have to wait and see what goes on here.